Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe to my man, Destination Station right now if you want the best content.
What exactly went wrong with this new Halloween trilogy? What's up? Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. Thank you for clicking on this video. Subscribe to Destination Station if you want Scream, Halloween, and everything in between. If horror is your jam, you're in the right place. And follow me on all my socials. And I'm still in that Face of Horror competition. I'm in the quarterfinalists now. So yeah, thank you for everybody that has voted for me. The link is down below to continue throwing in your votes. It's not going to be over until like November 3rd or November 5th, I think. So yeah, so every vote counts. So yeah, please keep supporting me and keep voting every single day. You get one free vote a day. But today I want to talk about the Halloween trilogy. This new trilogy, not the entire franchise as a whole. I have a whole nother video of ranking it and giving you my overall thoughts of every film in the entire franchise. But this is about the new trilogy. This is about David Gordon Green's, Danny McBride's, Jason Blum's new trilogy. This, we're going to go and we're going to talk about what's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're going to see what exactly went wrong here and why did they take these steps in going in this direction. But I wanted to make this video today and talk about the new trilogy in this franchise, not the entire franchise, because we have some really great Halloween films, and I have a video later on coming out that's going to be more on that and my ranking of the entire franchise. But I want to talk about this new trilogy, David Gordon Green's and Danny McBride's, this new requel, if you want to call it, which it pretty much is. The 2018 Halloween was a direct sequel to the original John Carpenter's 1978. We all know that. But where exactly did this go wrong? Where exactly, like from 2018 to Kills to Ends, what exactly happened? So I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this trilogy. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of this whole entire direction. I actually loved 2018. I have mixed feelings about Kills. I don't think it's a horrible movie, but I think there's some enjoyment to be had in that movie. And I've been all over my channel lately talking about Ends and how my mixed feelings on that is. So I want to just talk about where exactly did they go wrong and what could they have done to really hit that landing for us fans. And so yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about. Okay, so let's start off with the good, with Halloween 2018. This was a requel to the original Halloween film that we all adore, that's very close to our hearts, especially us horror fans and stuff. And it was very, very promising. It was well done. The tone was right. That's what I really enjoyed about it, was that it took itself serious and the tone was right. And nothing really felt too hammy. It was just like very much presented to us. And this is the movie out of all three of the movies that didn't really show many of the kills. A lot of the kills were off screen, but they were effective whenever you saw them. But there was really great moments in this movie. There was just, the opening, which, I still have questions about, but just having that whole where the podcasters are going and seeing Michael and holding up the mask, and you're introduced to Sartain. You don't really know the significance of his character until later on in the movie, but just holding up that mask and trying to get him to say something, and then the title card comes on, and then we're resurfacing this evil. You see that pumpkin coming back to life. That was very, very effective. I really enjoyed that. There are questions of like, how did they get their hands on this evidence? The Attorney General's office just hands this over because you had a friend there. No, I don't buy that. See, it's little things like that. It's like convenient writing that I don't like. And also, if I wanted to say another negative about 2018, is that it felt like I've been there, done that type of thing. Like with this being a requel and bringing it all back, and Laurie Strode and Michael breaking out again, you know, even though it was on the bus, whenever it crashes, it just kind of all felt like I've been there, done that. But it was also showing homages to a lot of the other franchises. I mean, we got homages to the original Halloween. We got homages to H2O. We got so many good Easter eggs in this, and we got presented with a Laurie Strode that is still traumatized after 40 years of the one Halloween night where her and her friends were stalked. And that's another negative that I want to say about this is that, and it sounds like I'm hating on the movie, and I'm not. I'm just you know, giving you my overall thoughts about the movie. Is Laurie Strode? She is very distraught. She's very just like unstable. She seems like, but she could be a badass if you pushed her to it. So she's like prepared for 40 years for him to return, and she's freaking out about it. And then she's also concerned because he's getting transported in a few days, and she's worried about that. She already kind of like knew that he's going to try and break out. And that's another thing. I kind of wanted to see the whole him breaking out of the bus. You know, I know that, like, you know, you got the twist later on with Dr. Sartain and all that kind of stuff, but it would have been kind of cool at least if we got a flashback to that bus sequence and seeing like maybe Sartain like unshackling Michael or something, and Michael going on that rampage or something, because I mean everything is just up for speculation, and we know that Sartain kind of wanted to trigger him in some way to come back, and he wants to hear him say something. He's wondering how does Michael tick, and that's what this movie was all like based around, like still a little bit of mystery. It was still you know, we get introduced to Allison and Karen, and we learn the dynamics between them and the mother and grandmother. It was really good. It was kind of like it had some family drama in there. It felt real, okay? And then we were introduced to Hawkins, which is a new character, and he supposedly was the one that arrested Michael on Halloween night, and we get a flashback of his whole experience in Halloween Killed. And then later on, it's kind of like, you know, it's your typical Halloween movie. We see like people babysitting, people going out trick-or-treating, but we get that one awesome badass shot of where Michael is just goes down a driveway, goes to the garage to get a hammer, and then goes in, and it's like a one take. There's actually really two takes in that whole entire thing, but it's still really creative how it's done. And then he goes out of the house, kills the old lady, kind of an homage to Halloween 2, and then he comes out, and then he goes into another house and kills another lady, and it's all just like seamlessly one shot. We don't really get anything like that again in this entire trilogy, and that's what I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. Let's keep this creativity, but it seems like they just lost their way. Then we get to the end, you know, where it was like really convenient, like Michael just had to be like put in the situation, like you get that twist with Sartain, which I'm not a big fan of, but I've accepted it. I mean, what else can I do but accept it? But I just thought that there was going to be more with the mask. You know, he even put Dr. Sartain after he attacks Hawkins. Sorry, I need some coffee. Shit. Sometimes I get those little brain farts. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But he attacks Hawkins because Hawkins really does want to kill him. He wants to take him out, and Sartain does not want Michael to die. So Sartain intervenes and stabs Hawkins in the neck, and then puts on Michael's mask, and then somehow with one arm messed up and the other arm, he gets Michael and throws him into the back seat and then throws his mask in there. I always thought that there was more mystery behind this mask, and I made a bunch of theory videos about it, about how like the mask is the key, and it really does seem that way because it seems like Michael has always been infatuated with the mask, and I understand that. But you know, I thought maybe there was going to be like a Silver Shamrock angle, maybe just slightly, you know, not like really going into it, but just kind of being like a little logo on the inside of his mask, and maybe that's what gives him a little bit more extra strength or him to come back. But no, we didn't get any of that. It's still just not explained, which is fine. I can accept that too. but it still kind of pisses me off because after 40 years, I want some damn answers. So we get it to where Sartain actually brings Michael to Laurie Strode's house. Michael's not even like really interested in her. She's just kind of in the way, and she's more freaked out over him than him even giving a shit about her. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like the whole cat and mouse game with Laurie Strode. You know, she puts her daughter and granddaughter down in the cellar, and she's built like these traps and these trap windows and doors, and she's got a shotgun and a rifle, and she's just ready. But Michael puts up a good fight, and they have a really good fight. I mean, this whole climax sequence was really entertaining. And I really think out of all three of the films, I prefer this one. I feel like this is a more definitive climax. And rightfully so, because that's exactly what it was originally going to be for Laurie Strode's character. And I think that like they had this 3-movie arc, and they knew where they wanted to kind of go with it. But in case this movie wasn't going to work out, this was going to be Laurie Strode's definitive end. And there was also an alternate ending to where they fought in the front yard, and Laurie Strode was supposed to be killed, and I think they were supposed to like kill each other or something like that. But I'm pretty sure Michael was going to live if this franchise was still banned. So that leads me up to the questions of exactly like where originally was Halloween Kills going to go. You know, like what was the original idea before they changed that ending to Halloween 2018? Because Halloween 2018 is probably one of the best sequels we've ever gotten in the Halloween franchise. And it's a great requel. I'm a fan of these requels. I want more of it. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Let's get on this shit ASAP. But now we got to get on to the bad. Halloween Kills, okay? Okay. It starts to get a little bit hammy here. It starts to get, you know, you can see the quality kind of decreasing a little bit, but not with that opening scene. That opening scene with the flashback of Hawkins actually helping to capture Michael in 1978. I actually enjoyed that, even though Hawkins is a horrible shot, and the whole sequence between him and his partner, or whatever you want to call him. That whole situation, I didn't really like how that was directed, as far as like how his friend got killed and then he couldn't get a shot off. You know, it was kind of similar to 2018. Michael, Hawkins just can't fucking shoot, man. But he's a good character, and it was great to see like the whole blue lighting, and it felt like Halloween 1978. That's what I loved about it. The atmosphere, the score, just everything about it just felt great. Even though that if you want to talk about how much their loves of the franchise, at the end of Halloween 1978, we know that Dr. Loomis shoots him 6 times. So he would have 6 bullet holes in his torso. And in Halloween Kills, in that flashback scene, there's no bullet holes. There's nothing. I don't know how they just left that out. I thought maybe, I was like, oh, well, did he heal, or did that not happen? Were they going to retcon that ending? And I know that was actually an idea until John Carpenter said, no, don't mess with Halloween 1978. That's one thing you don't want to do. You're going to piss off your fans. But they're pissing off their fans anyways with a lot of directions that they're taking here. But also in Kills, Laurie Strode, you know, that she makes it to the hospital, and she kind of takes a back seat. And then we find out that Hawkins is actually still alive, and they're side by side in the hospital along with a lot of other victims. It's in the same night. I love this direction. It's a lot like Halloween 2. It picks up exactly where it leaves off. And then we get that badass scene where Michael is in the cellar at the end of 2018, where Laurie trapped him and the house is on flames, and he burst out. I thought that was cool how he bursted out and he survived that whole thing. That's really cool. Instead of them just not telling us, we actually got to see something. And whenever he comes out, he starts fighting all the firefighters. It was a badass fight scene. I wish I didn't see it on the trailers. I wish that was like a surprise. And that's the one thing, the marketing with these movies, there's not a whole lot of surprise. With the test screenings and the marketing, like there's not a whole lot of secrets out of any of them. Whenever I went into every one of these movies, I felt like I knew the entire movie. So maybe that decreased the quality for me because I just knew everything. But also, there are still other things that are wrong with this, okay? But with Halloween Kills and that whole fight scene with the firefighters was really cool, except I wish it was a little bit more. I could kind of tell that David Gordon Green didn't know exactly how to do fight choreography for a movie, especially for something like this. I mean, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride really do have that comedy background, so this is kind of new to them a little bit. And but David Gordon Green did a well enough job. It was just like the firefighters coming at him one at a time, you know, felt like a video game. Like, you know those video games where like only one bad guy approaches and you got to knock him out, and then the next one comes and all that kind of stuff. Kind of felt like that. When in reality, I just don't see how Michael could have. I think it would have been more badass if they all would have came at him at once. Kind of like how at the very end of Halloween Kills, when the mob comes and approaches, they do kind of the similar thing. They like one at a time, and that just goes to show that David Gordon Green is just not good with fight choreography, which is fine, but they could have hired somebody to direct those scenes just a little bit better. Just those two scenes. That's all I'm asking. But it was really cool to see Michael and his strength and picking them up and stuff like that. We started dipping into Jason Voorhees territory here. That's what Michael is now. Now he's like pissed and he just wants to go home, and he's just trying to get out of there, and he's just kind of going on a rampage, just showing up at people's houses and slaughtering them and then just walking out. And that's where this movie shines, is just the simplicity of just Michael just going around just killing people and just moving on. I wish we would have got more one takes like we did in 2018, where Michael went and got that hammer and then went into the house, killed the old lady, came out, went into another person's house, all one take. More creative choices like that. Like that would have been really awesome to see in Kills and in Ends. But we didn't get that because not everything in this movie with all the kills is great, because some of the kills are kind of cheesy. Some of them are kind of like they don't feel earned, or they just don't look right. They kind of feel, they started dipping into B movie territory. You know, we get a lot of the returning cast back. We got Tommy, we got Lindsay, we got Marion Chambers back, and you know, and they're all learning that you know what just happened tonight, and they're all kind of traumatized by it too. So they decide to mob up with the rest of them and go and search for Michael Myers. But you know, there was this whole park sequence that was a big set, and Michael takes them out one by one. Marion Chambers with the whole not being able to shoot them. Great homage to 1978 with the hand on the window. But whenever she's like, "This is for Dr. Loomis," and then she's out of bullets. Oh, who didn't call that? There's a hard B movie trope right there. Those are the kind of tropes that I don't like. Like, oh, the gun's empty now, and then he just reaches in there and just starts stabbing her. It's like we didn't even get to spend any time with Marion Chambers. We got more time with her in H2O with the opening kill than we did here. So it just felt like maybe she shouldn't have been there, or maybe she should have been at the hospital, and maybe she should have had a daughter there, and maybe she was concerned about her daughter. Maybe her daughter's a nurse now, you know, something, you know, like it just felt odd having Marion Chambers with this group of people just because they were survivors of that night, you know. And we also got Lonnie there, and Tommy and Lonnie are friends now, and it's just, you know, I can buy Tommy, Lindsay, and Lonnie, but I can't buy Marion Chambers hanging out with them. Does that make sense? But it was just convenient writing, you know, and Marion Chambers gets killed, and then one of the girls runs away with the gun, and then the guy tries to strangle Michael Myers with a telescope. I can't ever say what that thing is, but he tries to strangle him, and then kind of turns and just stabs him, you know, like that didn't look right to me, you know, like that could have been an awesome kill, but for some reason, just the way it was presented, it was executed, it just did not look right. And then whenever, you know, the girl decides to just show back up and start, I guess she found courage down the street and came back and starts shooting at Michael, not hitting him at all, and then he kicks the door and then she shoots herself in the head. That was kind of just hammy. That wasn't like that. See where the tones are shifting here? It's not as serious as the kills were in Halloween 2018. But then you get that one heroic moment with Lindsay, you know, filling bricks full in that bag and comes over there. But, you know, he attacks her, but she tries to take off his mask or mess with it, and he stops attacking her. That's why I always made these theory videos like, does she know more than she's letting on? How does she know that? Is her, and then she survives. So I thought that her character had more to say. You know, I thought in the end we were going to like get this big reveal, like something about Lindsay. Like, why does everybody else, why does all the returning cast die except for Lindsay? Maybe that was only her way of signing on to the project, was like, my character's got to survive. And maybe everybody else didn't have that in their contract. So maybe that was the only reason. And we get that scene where Lindsay hides out in that creek area by that tree, and you see Michael get on that bridge and is searching for her and doesn't find her. And then later on, Tommy and Lonnie ends up at the park and sees her, and she's like crawling on the grass, and she's got like marks on her face, and it looks like she's just been trampled on. And we know that didn't happen. You know, did they delete a scene there, or were they not able to film a scene? Or for me, knowing that, you know, looking back on it, seeing how she messed with that mask and seeing how she survived this without everyone else, I thought maybe she was kind of acting a little bit. That's what was my first thought. But no, we don't get anything like that with her character in the next movie. In fact, she's kind of on the sideline as well. She's not very significant. She's just kind of like a friend of Laurie's and Allison's, and just hanging out, and nothing really happens with her. But it would have made a better story or a different twist or something for ends than what we actually got, and we'll get there in a minute. We'll get to that end. Then we get that infamous "Evil dies tonight," and we hear this chanting, and we hear everybody, and we see Tommy just kind of overdoing it, like he's just Billy Badass of the month, and he's going to just take Michael out. He's talking so much smack throughout the entire movie. They build up this whole thing. It felt like it was almost Tommy's movie. And we build up to like this mob mentality. We get the whole, you know, political message angle that, you know, he's making us monsters, and all the people chanting "Evil dies tonight," and that poor guy that ends up falling from the hospital and busting his head. Even like seeing like that. Okay, we're spending too much time in this area here. But even whenever he lands, he bursts his head open like a pumpkin, and just showing the brains and everything all over the place kind of takes the effect away of the message that they're trying to see. There's a certain tone that they needed to keep that was like serious, like the first film, and taking our characters seriously. And if you are going to throw in some of these, you know, other different like messages in here as far as mob mentality and mental illness, or you know, trauma, and also like trying to make it out to seem like mob mentality, like we're turning into the monsters. If you want us to take you seriously, then you need to be serious. You don't need to make it over gory in the scene that you're, you know, that you're this message that you're trying to deliver to your audience. And also just having Sheriff Brackett, you know, give that line, like spelling it out for the audience and everybody that's in the scene like we're idiots. It's just bad writing. There's a lot of like just ups and downs with Halloween Kills. There's like good moments, and then there's bad moments, and which one really overweighs the other. And with Sheriff Brackett, I feel like that's a wasted character too. Just the way he dies at the end, and even giving out that one line, you know, everyone's entitled to one good scare, like throwing back to 1978. We don't need that, especially not in that moment. We're supposed to be serious, right? But you're tipping your toes into B-movie, horror movie territory, and it's not the same tone that you had with 2018. I just thought that Sheriff Brackett's character was completely underutilized, and I, somewhere along the way of Halloween Kills, what I wanted to see was that maybe the mob, you know, stomps Michael in the ground, and you think he's dead, but you know, paramedics and police get there and back everybody off. They put him in the back of the ambulance because they think he still just has a little bit of life left, or not, you know, because, you know, they're really supposed to try to, you know, to help people survive in these moments. But with Michael, he could be, they might think he's dead, and they bring him to the actual hospital of Haddonfield, where all our characters are at. Sheriff Brackett, Laurie Strode, all these people, and then and you know, Sheriff Brackett shouldn't be a part of that of the mob out there. He should have stayed, you know, in the hospital watching after Laurie and just trying to keep things settled down in the hospital. On that trailer where, like, you know, people were shouting "Evil Dies Tonight" and they're rocking that ambulance, I thought that Michael was going to be in that ambulance and they were going to have to get the, you know, keep the crowd back, and they were going to have to bring Michael in, and they were, you know, pronounce him dead, and he's down in the morgue or something. And maybe near the end of the movie, instead of the one that we got with Karen, and I'll touch on that in a minute, Brackett takes it upon himself, like, you know, he goes in and he tells Laurie while she's laying there, like, he's dead, it's over. And she's just like a sign of relief, you know. And Brackett decides to go down there and check on the dead body. And when he goes down there, because he is hospital security now, and when he goes down there, he sees his body, and Michael jumps up, kills Brackett in that moment. Boom. Movie's over. Cliffhanger. Keep it like that. That's the way Halloween Kills should have ended. And maybe Halloween Ends would start off with like this whole rampage of like the hospital, you know, like Michael just like mowing down people with his knife, and there's just crowds, and everyone's scattering, and everyone's panicking and scared, and maybe someone were even shouting "Evil Dies Tonight" while he's killing their asses. I just wanted to see a badass scene at the hospital. I always thought that was a really cool scene. And Halloween 2 has a special place in my heart. I think it's a really good sequel. I really kind of wish it was canon to this. I think it would have kind of made sense in a way, and we could have went into a little bit of a different, you know, direction. Even though he burned up at the end of Halloween 2, we still could have still kind of built off of that. But I know they wanted to get rid of the whole brother-sister angle. That's fine. But this is the one we got. So yeah, we didn't get much killing at the hospital at all. It was really underutilized, the whole hospital setting. I really just wanted to see Halloween 2 on steroids. That's what I wanted to do. Because in Halloween 2, everything was kind of like calm and dark, and there wasn't a whole lot of staff, and it wasn't very crowded at all. It almost felt like it was almost empty. And in this one, it was like overpacked. So I was like, ooh, Michael's going to have a field day in this hospital when he gets here. And I just was not fulfilled on that front. But then we get, you know, everyone out searching for Michael, and we get that whole scene, which is the best scene in the entire movie. Little John and Big John was a great scene as well, but there was something about it that was just missing. It went a little bit too comedy, which is fine. I can forgive it for that. But what I cannot forgive it for is whenever, is it Little John or Big John? I forget, I get the two mixed up. But the one that survives, and Michael's in the room, and he's like, Michael, or whatever, I'm paraphrasing here, and then Michael turns around and starts walking towards him. He just stands in that doorway and doesn't do anything. And what? He doesn't even try to escape. He just he's so stunned to see Michael. He's not, you got the door open behind you. You have access. You have an exit strategy here. You don't have to fight for your life. You just got to run for it, bitch. But no, he ends up killing him. And it was kind of cool to see that other character get stabbed in the armpit. That was kind of cool and different. And then the way that Michael staged them, you know, laying on each other like lovers or whatever, that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of cool how Michael did that. But the whole just letting Michael just approach you and kill you without you even moving a muscle, or like you're just so stunned. Yeah, I don't fucking buy it. And that's the thing about a lot of this stuff in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, is I just don't fucking buy it. Whenever we get that scene where, you know, Michael is finally home, and which is a great idea. This is such a great idea. There's so much potential here, and it just falls flat in some of the directing and writing choices. But we get Lonnie, we get Cameron, and we get Allison, and they get to the Myers house. And Cameron, we started to like Cameron from him being a teenage dirtbag from Halloween 2018. Now he's kind of building on us, you know, a little bit. And he's trying to be a little heroic here, a little bit protective. He's trying to right his wrongs. And his dad goes into the house by himself. You know how this is going to end. Like, that was another thing. It's like, why don't you go together? I know you don't want to put your kids in harm's way. Well, why even let your kids tag along if you don't want them to be in this situation? Like, you're the dad. You put them in this situation. And you either go all the way or don't go at all. Well, the firepower, you needed as many guns as you could get at that point, right? So you're already kind of like in a careless parenting situation here. So, anyways, we all know what happens. We don't really get to see Lonnie's death, but you know, Cameron and Allison ends up going into the house, and this is the best scene of the whole entire movie, in my opinion. And I'm gonna go in more in depth later on a video, just the way this is all structured. And Cameron gets what the audience was asking for in 2018, but we weren't asking for it in this one because we were growing to like him. But whenever he gets killed, it just makes it that much more devastating because we almost start feeling sorry for him. And just the way Michael just takes him out and kind of tortures him a little bit. And then when Michael comes down and Allison's at the bottom of the stairs and looking up, it's like, stop messing with him. Leave him alone, or whatever the hell she says. And he looks over and he just grabs his neck. Like, that was so great. That's one of the best scenes of the entire Halloween franchise. Fight me. I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. We see Allison almost like holding her own with Michael. Michael's trying to stab her. I don't know how she's holding him off like that. And then Karen comes in with a pitchfork and stabs him in the back, and then takes his mask. And then he gets up and she's like holding it up. And it's like, you know, you want this? Come and get it. And lures him away from Allison. And he just got stabbed in the back with a pitchfork. And she's luring him out, you know, a couple streets over and plants it in the street. And that's all he wants. He wants his mask back. And whenever he goes to put it on, and when he gets there, all the lights come on. The whole entire mob is surrounding him, and they don't beat his ass before he puts on the mask. They let him have time to put on his mask, and then they all come in one after another, like they've never been in a fight before. It's like, yeah, like, how are y'all gonna take out Michael Myers when y'all are like the least threatening mob I've ever seen in my entire fucking life? Just the way that was all directed and choreographed, just kind of like the scene at the beginning with the firefighters. It just seems like David Gordon Green just doesn't know how to do a proper fight scene. Maybe he just didn't have the resources, and he was kind of trying to end this quick. And one comes in after the other, you know, and then Michael also gets shot a couple times. I mean, he gets really messed up. No mortal man could have survived that. I don't care what anybody says. There's something immortal about it. And there's something, he's supernatural, okay? I don't care what anybody says. It's supernatural. They just don't say what it is. Doesn't mean that he's not supernatural. It's just unspoken. It's an unsolved mystery. But he is supernatural. Laurie Strode even makes it a point to talk about that he's more than a man, and he transcends after every kill. What fucking person on this earth that is human and that is mortal can do that, okay? It's like the fucking Mummy. Every time he kills somebody, he gets stronger, or he gets a little bit more part of himself or something. And then in Halloween Ends, and we'll get there, I know y'all are ready for this one, but he does something in that one. So yeah, don't tell me he's not supernatural. Then Karen leaves to go tend with Allison, and then everyone else is standing around, and Michael gets up and starts, you know, is killing everybody, even kills Sheriff Brackett, even kills Tommy Doyle. And the way it's shot, it was all like on a soundstage, so it looks a little weird with the lighting and everything, kind of almost like a dream sequence in a way, but it wasn't. But they built up this big ass fight between Tommy and Michael, and Tommy just goes out just like that. It's just, it was so like this is what we were building to. Like, there's no fight here. Lindsay put up more of a fight than him. Karen put up more of a fight than him. Laurie obviously put up more fight. I mean, it's just, it just baffles me that we spent so much time with Tommy. We built up this character just for you to kill him off like that. And that goes along with all of the returning characters, but especially Tommy, because he's the one that got the most screen time. Then we see Karen just deciding to go upstairs and go to that bedroom and look out that window and away from everybody, which is kind of odd. And you got, you know, police officer taking the statements, and you got some neighbors being caring and you know, helping Allison and making sure she's okay. And then next thing you know, we get Michael just showing up in the house upstairs and kills Karen, and just like that, Michael was not hurt. Michael is standing up straight. He even stands up even straighter after he kills her. Like, he almost just transcended a little bit, huh? And I don't even know how he got bypassed all of the people and everything. And I know he can sneak around and stuff like that, but I need these kind of answers. I would like to see a flashback to kills just to show us the ending of Kills. Like okay, let's start off ends and let's show Kills from a let's show the ending of Kills from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? And now we're getting into ends, and before I go there, I'm going to talk about how I would like ends to have begun. I would have liked to see, like, from the perspective of Michael Myers' eyes, like the camera's in the mask, and you see the eye holes, you know, like in Halloween 1978 when he was a kid, and even later on in the movie they did it. But seeing him like maybe it opens up to where he's just now stabbed Tommy, and they're looking at each other, you know, face to face, like at the end of Kills. But we're seeing it from Michael's perspective. Everything is from Michael's perspective, and you know, he kills Tommy, and then he starts making his way to the house, you know, just moseying along, just going by everybody. And then he sees a car coming, so he like steps behind a bush, you know, while the car goes by past him, or by a tree or something. And he goes across, and he sees a bunch of people at the front of the Myers house, front of his house. So he goes to like a neighbor's house, and maybe he walks into the house, and this is all like one take. You know, it's kind of like Halloween 2018 when we got that awesome shot. And he goes into this one house, into the neighbor's house, because everybody's at the front of the Myers house, and he kills somebody. And then he goes out in the backyard, and maybe there's a dog barking or something. He has to kill the dog, or we just hear him go, arr, arr, you know, or something. It's a little bit off screen or something. Then he goes out of that backyard into the Myers backyard, and maybe a cop's back there, you know, is going to like, everything checks okay back here. Michael kills him real quick, comes out of the shadows and just stabs and kills the cop. Goes through the back door, and we're still in Michael's perspective here, right? And we see the back, and he gets to that front door area right at the bottom of the stairs, and he sees Allison and the cops and everybody. No one can see Michael, but Michael like glances down at Allison, just takes a small little pause, nothing very serious, and then just kind of turns and goes up the stairs. And he was just going back to that room, to that window, and oh, to his surprise, Karen's here. Oh, this is my lucky day. I can get my revenge. And he kills Karen just like that. And we get it from the POV of Michael Myers, and we see the knife going down and killing Karen, and we see her dropping, just like he did with Judith in 1978. And then boom, maybe the camera could transition to him just staring out that window, and the camera just kind of pans back and maybe like, you know, moves to the moon or something like that. And then boom, Halloween ends. Or yeah, that's how Halloween Ends begins. You know what I'm trying to say? Shit. You tongue-tied motherfucker. Sorry. I had to get a little bit of coffee. I'm getting a little anxious here. So, okay, now we're in Halloween Ends, and we don't get none of that shit. We don't get any answers. We hope for the best. We hear all these test screenings, and we're all puzzled. We're wondering what's going on here, and Jamie Lee Curtis is going on statements saying that, you know, this movie is going to piss off a lot of fans and all this kind of stuff, and they're going in bold directions. And then we hear these like Christine homages, and we hear you know, all these throwbacks to these other movies, and it's just like, what are we doing here? And we also hear that we're doing a 4-year time jump, and Michael's been missing for 4 years, and now that and then we're hearing that Laurie Strode is now healing, has a memoir, and she's more healthier. I just want to talk on this before we even get into the movie. How in the hell does it make sense for 40 years Laurie was devastated, was traumatized, screaming, you know, taking airplane shots in the truck cab, you know, freaking out about Michael for 40 years, about one night in 1978 of him killing some babysitters and stalking her. And now we're at the end of Kills. He kills your daughter. He kills your daughter that you've been trying to protect. Now we have a 4-year jump between that event to this event, and Michael has been missing. Not dead, not assumed dead. We haven't seen a body. You haven't seen a body or anything. She would automatically think he's still alive. But now she's inviting Halloween into her life. She's making pumpkin fucking pies. And she's not traumatized. She's like healthier and sober and all this kind of stuff. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. If my daughter died from somebody that traumatized me at a young age and came back and killed my daughter, I would never get over that, especially not in a 4-year time gap. That's why I wish we would have just picked up the exact same night of Halloween Kills. It doesn't matter if there was, the thing going on in the world. I can't say it because I'll get demonetized. We don't have to have that. We can still pick up exactly where it left off. We could right some wrongs and we could answer some questions here. And we could have still gotten that crazy ass hospital scene that I always wanted, and this isn't all about me. I know that. I know it's only wishful thinking and it's only theorizing and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much more you could have done with this movie than doing what y'all did. And it starts off a little promising. You already know that you're in for a different type of movie whenever you get the different type of font and you get that music, which is kind of cool. And then you get introduced to this new character, Corey Cunningham, which should have been Cameron. That's all I'm going to say about that. We would have, if Cameron would, even though that his death scene was the best death scene of the entire new trilogy in Kills, maybe change that, rewrite that, and make it to where that was Lonnie dying in Halloween Kills instead of Cameron. It wouldn't have been as effective, but we would have still had Cameron for this movie, and maybe we could have grown on him a little bit more because we've already been introduced to this character in Halloween 2018, in Kills, and now in Ends, but we're introduced to a completely new character, Corey Cunningham, and he's babysitting this young kid, and this is a really good scene, honestly, like from a directing standpoint, writing standpoint, everything was it was really well executed. It was just kind of puzzling why they went in this direction for a Michael Myers Halloween movie. And when the kid falls, whenever the accidental death happens, I felt it. I was like, oh, like that. I don't like to see kids getting killed. That might be the dad in me, but like that's something about that's just real unsettling to me, and I just don't like it. But the way this was all filmed and everything, it hit hard, okay? It worked in this scenario. But then we see that, Corey's kind of getting bullied by the towns, some of the kids in the towns, from band members by that. I mean, like, what bullies do you know that's in band, okay? What? That's all. I want to point that out right there. You're getting bullied by band kids. No offense to any of the band kids. It's just, that's not something that's normally, that I've ever seen. It's usually like athletes or the jocks or something like that, not the band kids. And they wanted him to buy some beer, and he says no because he doesn't want to get into any trouble because he's already, you can see the weight that has been on him in his life from what happened when he was babysitting that kid at that time. So we're spending a lot of time with Corey. We're building him up. We don't know where this is going to go yet. We've heard speculations. And then we see Laurie Strode. She's healthier. She's got blonder hair. She's dressing nicer. Her skin looks good. She's writing her memoir. She's been through therapy, and she's living with Allison. They're living together, and that's another thing is I thought we were going to be building up Allison. I thought that's where we were going with this whole entire franchise, was we were building up Allison to be this big badass final girl by the end of this movie, and we don't really get that either. Then we see Corey Cunningham going into the sewers and discovering Michael Myers. Well, he doesn't even go in there. He gets thrown over a bridge and gets dragged into the sewers with Michael Myers, and he really just wakes up in the sewer. And when he's walking around, that's whenever Michael grabs him by the neck and they look into each other's eyes. And from that moment on, Corey is a different person. Tell me that's not supernatural, because you would either be traumatized, but it seems like he just got a little bit of evil. But when he gets out, he runs into this homeless guy that we see here and there. And I thought the homeless guy was a little bit of a missed opportunity too. But he kind of seemed like it was going to remind me of one of the Friday the 13th movies where it's like Jason's still out there, like Michael's still out there. He's in the sewers, but none of the townsfolk would listen to him. But no, we don't get any scenes like that. But he does grab Corey when he comes out of the sewer, and he's like, he's been taking people in there for years, blah, 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 blah. Why did he let you live? All that. Like why did he let Corey Cunningham? And then Corey ends up killing him. But here's the thing. Here's my question while I'm right here is we see this scene where Corey lures this one cop that's off duty that's been harassing him and Allison throughout a couple scenes. He lures him down there, and he kind of sets this guy up for Michael to kill him, and he's like holding him. He's like, show me how you do it. Show me how it's done. All this kind of stuff. Like, come on, Dad, show me how to kill somebody. And when Michael goes and just kills this the Mulaney guy, he's starts doing this like convulsion thing. Like I got chills running all through me, you know, like Beetlejuice or something. And he gets like stronger. He starts standing up straighter. He's transcending, okay? And if he's getting stronger at that point, then what is going on? How can you say that he's not supernatural? That's not him just like gaining confidence here. That's stupid. But Michael is still weak. We see Michael almost like falling over and barely being able to do anything. We see this crippled old beat down Michael, which he was not like that in the end of Halloween Kills. And if he's been down in this sewer for 4 years hiding out, and then with the homeless guy saying that he's been taking people down there for years, then that means that Michael's been killing for years, just secretly pulling them in there like he's fucking Pennywise of Haddonfield. That means that he would have transcended by now, right? If he's been killing people for years and there's all these missing people signs all over the town, you know, they really didn't like dive too much into that. And I wish they would have done a little bit more. Maybe we'll get an extended cut that'll fill in some of these blanks, but I would like to see that explored just a little bit more. And at the same time, we got this love interest thing going on between Corey and Allison, and it's developing, and Allison doesn't even feel like the same Allison in the last 2 movies. It just doesn't. It feels like she's like a completely different person in this movie. You would think that she's still traumatized for what happened with her mom, you know? I just don't buy this whole like, oh, we're letting it go and we're moving on and we're living life, but we're still in Haddonfield. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not buying it. No, I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that, but that's how I felt about this. I'm not buying a lot of this stuff y'all are trying to sell me. And then on top of it, you know, there's like this love thing between them two, and they want to leave town together. But now like you get this one scene where like Corey's coming to see Allison at the house, and Laurie Strode's looking out the window, and you see Corey over there by the bush, and like an homage to Halloween 1978. And then when she goes outside, she doesn't see him, and he shows up behind her, kind of spooks her a little bit, and she like looks at him, and then he's like, I just need to talk to Allison. He apologizes to Allison and asks her to go with him so he can apologize, all this kind of stuff, and Laurie's just looking at him all crazy, like what? Like, and now she's all of a sudden, just because you see him standing by a bush, or you think you saw him standing by a bush, and then he shows up and he seems like he says he's gotten jumped or something, and now she already thinks there's something ain't right about him because the look in his eyes or something like that. Like, I don't buy that either. This kid just got jumped. He's got marks all over him. Maybe he's in distraught. You ever been like that before, Laurie? Maybe you should be considered as somebody else. You know, like, I know that that's where the story's going and stuff, but for Laurie's motivation to feel this way doesn't make sense. Am I making sense? Felt like it was just like convenient writing and forced writing just to get us to the next scene. Then the part that just breaks me as a could-be fan of Halloween Ends and I'm appreciating a lot of this. I appreciate all this stuff. It's not really where I want the Michael Myers story to go, but I'm accepting it for what it is at this point. But then there's a part in the movie that breaks it for me, that I'm just like, nope, not me. Nope, I'm done with this. Is where Corey goes into the sewer system, walks, you know, pretty much bullies Michael into giving him the mask. And Michael's throwing him around. He's throwing Michael around, but Corey gets the upper hand and wrestles him down and takes the mask and then gets out of the sewer alive. No, I call bullshit. I don't buy that, okay? Michael is a killing machine. It would have made more sense if he went down there and he started talking to Michael and say, hey, I want to know how it feels. Let me see how it feels. I'll bring more people back for you. You know, I'll help you. Whatever. Have a conversation. And Michael's just staring at him. And you don't know what Michael's about to do. And then Michael, you know, takes off the mask. We don't see his face, but he hands it to Corey, and then he hands over the knife. I would have accepted that more than what we got of him just bitching Michael out and taking his shit. No, like, what the fuck? But before that, you know, we see them like teaming up and killing the doctor and the nurse. at the house, which was pretty effective. We especially seeing how Dr. Mathis gets killed, and we see that Corey has that clown or that clown scarecrow mask. I mean, and it's kind of creepy because I kind of got Stranger vibes from that scene, which was pretty cool. And the way it was all shot, I really liked how it was executed. The nurse runs back in, and then Michael comes out of the shower or the closet, I can't remember which one, and grabs her, picks her up. He seems pretty damn strong, and this is before Corey actually wrestles his ass down, and he stabs her like he does Bob in the original. And it's like they double dragging this bitch for a minute, like like it was different, but I was also kind of like, okay, I can buy this just a little bit. This is different, but we're skating on thin ice here. But then the next time we see this whole situation and he wrestles Michael down, that's just where it broke it for me. I was like, no, this isn't this. They should not have done. Don't do that. Whoever reboots this movie again or this franchise again, do not do that. Then we get it to where Corey's trying to get Allison to leave town, and she's agreed to do it. And then we see, Corey goes on this rampage to where he kills all his bullies, and he also even kills his mom, which we saw a scene where it looked like it was going to be a lot more brutal than that, but it was a cutaway death scene. I hope we get to see that in the extended cut as well. I also wasn't buying his mother too. His mother was really annoying, and that whole conversation between Laurie and his mom, I just wasn't buying that either. I felt that was really forced, and his mom was very annoying, and I know that's what she was written to be, but I just wasn't buying that whole angle. And then once he does kill all his bullies in that junkyard, it's like it felt like a very Jason-esque. Okay, even him stomping on her head, splatters like Michael did to Sartain, felt like a very Jason Voorhees kill. Seemed like to me Corey was getting stronger with every kill. Does that, even with the DJ, where he goes into the DJ and he smashes his head and then his jaw's like that, that's kind of like a throwback to Halloween 2018, whenever we didn't see that death on scene, where that guy was at the gas station, his jaw was all to the side, and then his tongue was kind of flipping on the record. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, dang, Corey's getting strong. The mask is working. He's transcending now. They don't really ever even touch on that. They kind of rush it to the point to where, you think Laurie Strode's about to commit suicide, and then, we don't even get the whole POV shot of Corey coming upstairs, fits him to attack Laurie, and then she puts a couple rounds into him, falls down the stairs, and then she ends up fixing to kill Corey, and then Corey kills himself with a knife, which was stupid. And there was nothing. That was it. Allison comes in and thinks that her grandmother just killed him because, he kept saying that, I think she's going to try to kill me and all this kind of stuff. And they built up this whole thing, like even earlier on in the movie where, Laurie sneaks into that house where the kid died. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk on, is this house where the kid died, the house from the beginning, is all boarded up and nobody's living in it. You mean to tell me that nobody's living in this house, like it's the spooky house of it's the new Myers house or something? Like, I thought the climax was going to end there. Like we were gonna go back to the beginning and everything's going to be fixated here. Or maybe this house was built on, because, like there was apparently articles to where they bulldozed the Myers house, and maybe this house was built on the Myers lot. That would have been interesting and something to explore there. Maybe this whole situation, this whole house area, whatever's built on this lot is evil in itself. That's dabbling a little bit into haunted house territory, but there's something that you could play with there. But I thought that there could have been this really cool climax thing, because this is where Corey goes whenever he gets kicked out of the house, and then he sees Laurie. How the hell did she get in there? How did she know where he was? We didn't see anything like that. But then after the way she exits this whole scene with the window open, it almost felt like a dream sequence. And some people say that was a dream sequence, like that's the evil playing in Corey's mind, making him think that Laurie is more evil than she really is, or trying to stop him in some way. Or did this really happen? They don't really talk too much on that. But, later on, whenever Laurie does shoot Corey and Corey kills himself, which was so anticlimactic, if I might add, and then, Allison runs off, and the police is already supposed to be on the way. You mean to tell me someone just called the Haddonfield Police Department and said there's a suicide at this address, and we're like 7 minutes, 8 minutes into this scene, and they still haven't shown up yet. And then Michael has time to even show up and retrieve his mask, kill Corey all the way by breaking his neck, and then we get this whole showdown between Laurie and Michael. For the most part, I did enjoy this fight scene. It was too quickly over, but it was very enjoyable. There was a lot of, who's gonna be on top, who's gonna make it out. It felt like David Gordon Green's choreography kind of has improved over the 3 films of doing these movies, so it's like he's kind of getting better. I just want it to be a little bit longer, and then Laurie kind of gets the upper hand, and with her using the knives to stab his hands down and beat him down with the frying pans and stuff, that was really cool. And then throwing the refrigerator on his legs like he can't move, that was really cool stuff. And Laurie, takes off his mask, and she just starts talking about, you're nothing more than just a man. That's all you are. And I like that whole aspect, that's always been intriguing to me. Like you give what your fear is, like you give it that energy. Just like in A Nightmare on Elm Street, whenever, Nancy says, you're nothing, you're shit. I'm not afraid of you or anything like that. It took away Freddy's powers. It's kind of like here. She kind of overpowered Michael because she's not afraid of him anymore. And she just cuts his throat and then cuts his wrist. And then next thing you know, he rips his hand out and it splits right here, which was really cool, and grabs Laurie. And you think that she's about to die too. But then Allison has a change of heart and comes back in the house and breaks his arm. And I was just kind of like, I didn't really like that. I didn't think that Allison did enough. I wish Allison came in sooner and helped Laurie, and they were both beating his ass or something, or maybe really what should have happened for Hawkins' arc is that him and the cavalry gets there, and Hawkins finally takes that shot. He's in the doorway and he finally shoots him straight in the head. He finally takes that shot. That would have been more satisfying if that would have happened or something like that. We didn't get anything like that. And the next thing you know, they get Michael, they tie him to the top of the car like he's a fucking moose, and they drive him away, and they're luring the entire Haddonfield people that has been traumatized throughout the years away to this junkyard. And also, before I talk on that, I don't know if anyone ever noticed, but that lady that was in the devil costume at the beginning of the movie that was hung because they were talking about how evil is affecting people, and you see people and Hawkins says, Michael doesn't use guns. And then we see the next thing is someone's committing suicide, and it's a older lady in a devil costume. That's Oscar's mom from 2018, and she was crying at his bedside in Halloween Kills. A lot of people hasn't picked up on that, but yeah, that's Oscar's mom in Oscar's costume. There's a lot of things like that they could have explored a little bit more and would have felt more at home and more serious here. Then we get to this junkyard scene where everyone's lifting Michael off the car and moving him towards this grinder, this metal grind. I don't know the specific name for this machinery. And then everyone parts ways and lets Laurie go up there and do the honors of destroying Michael Myers and releasing this curse off of Haddonfield pretty much. And that's pretty much what she does. She pushes him in and he gets all crushed up, and we actually get to see it. I didn't think we were going to be able to see it that much. That was kind of cool. It would have been crazy. I think that there should have been one more scene that could have been the scene. That could have been the scene for Hawkins to redeem himself, to have that over arc, is that maybe right when she's getting ready to push him in, he snatches her by the hair or by the neck or something, or by the arm. And it's almost like maybe he's halfway in there getting grinded up by his leg or something, and he's trying to pull Laurie in. And then next thing you know, Hawkins pulls out the gun and it's like, bam! And it releases him from her, and he gets all grinded up, I'm all reenacting this shit. But see, things like that, let me make a Halloween movie, damn it. And this is the way it should have ended. But no, he just gets grinded up into some damn Myers burgers. After that, we just see this whole aftermath of Hawkins coming to Laurie's house. Laurie's staying in Haddonfield, and he puts some flowers and some stuff on the front porch, and you see that they're going to develop this romantic relationship probably. And then we see Allison leaving Haddonfield finally. You know, Laurie's been telling you since the 2018, here's some money, get the fuck out of Haddonfield, go on vacation, you know, forget school, all that kind of stuff. And and finally she does it in this one, and then, you know, the camera's kind of like takes different shots and it's all bright, and it kind of feels like the ending of Scream 3 a little bit, with everything bright and there's no alarm, like Sidney can live. Well, now Laurie can live in the daylight and without ease and without the boogeyman's presence. But then we see the mask just laying there on the coffee table, and then we get the music, and then the credits roll, and that's it. That's it. Halloween just fucking ended. I think. I thought that maybe, what if like Laurie got like was wondering, like maybe she invited, you know, Hawkins in or something, and maybe she's like, I'll make you a cup of tea or something like that, and then like Hawkins is sitting there on the couch, and you realize that the mask isn't there anymore, and then he doesn't know where Laurie's at. She's been gone for a long period of time. Like, Laurie, where you at? And next thing you know, Laurie is wearing the mask, and she kills Hawkins. That would have been a really dark ending, but it would have been kind of an homage to Halloween 4 with Jamie Lloyd, you know, killing and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I mean, that you're gonna piss off fans one way or the other, but like still, I needed something else. I feel like it has an ending. I know that they're trying to definitively end this one, and it will get rebooted down the road, and I hope it's sooner more than later, because I need this bad taste out of my mouth with Halloween. It's not an overall bad movie. It's well directed. It's well written. It's well acted. It's well executed. Even the choreography is a little bit better in this one. It's just the direction of which way they went. And I really think that Jamie Lee Curtis is the main problem of a lot of these out of this trilogy, is because she has some creative control over it. And I'm pretty sure she put that in the contract before she signed on. It's like, hey, I want to be able to control my character and go in this kind of direction. If I got to do some rewrites, let me do that. And that's probably what affected the direction of this movie. It is Laurie Strode. She also wanted to put some political angles in there, which doesn't need to be in a Michael Myers movie. You can have it in the background. You can touch on it here and there, but don't make it the base of your movie. And also, don't focus on Corey Cunningham. He could be there. We could have went into that by the end of this movie, after the whole Laurie and Michael thing, and we've known this Corey Cunningham character, and then by the end, he's the one wearing the mask, and we could have like left it up for speculation, like, is there going to be another one, or are they going to spin off with this character now? You know, like something, you know, they do an anthology with the Corey Cunningham character. I would have bought that more, instead of us having so much screen time, an hour and a half of Corey Cunningham's building arc and character all the way to that, and overpowering Michael. And this isn't even a Michael Myers movie. This is a climax with Michael Myers, but even the climax doesn't even feel as fulfilling as Halloween 2018 did. So they should have just left it alone then. You know, it's just so many different creative choices, different tones. It's like a damn roller coaster. You know, there's ups and downs. That consistent just, okay, we're going up, we're going up, we're going up, until we hit that peak, and then it's just like, boom, hitting that landing. I don't know what's wrong with a lot of these big franchises that just cannot mark the landing. And the way I like this new trilogy, if I wanted to just rank these three on its own, it's in the exact order. I like 2018, then I like Kills, then I like Halloween Ends. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the way I felt about it, and that's why I wanted to make this video. And I'm also doing a Halloween franchise ranking also. That's coming up soon. So my overall ranking of the entire franchise, I'm rewatching them right now just to kind of like refresh my memory on a lot of story beats. So yeah, be looking out for that. But yeah, guys, what did you think about this? Do you like this about franchises? Do you like me doing like the good, the bad, and the ugly? This could be I could turn this to an actual series on my channel, if that's something you would like. But like, I just really wanted to talk about these three overall movies, and I want to know what you guys think. Also, how do you feel about this? Or do we share similar feelings on this, or am I completely off? Do you think I'm just full of shit? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm down to hear it all. I don't judge people. I'm a man of my word. I can own up whenever I'm wrong. I'm the kind of guy that can take accountability if I'm wrong. That's where I'm going to end this video. This has been kind of lengthy. Subscribe to Destination Station if you want Scream, Halloween, and everything in between. And Follow me on all my socials. All the links down below. And also, don't forget to vote for me on the Face of Horror competition. I'm in the quarterfinalists. So yeah, I've already made it this far. Let's keep going. Every vote counts. Do it daily. You get free votes every single day. So just hit that link and go vote. All right, guys. This is Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. I'll see you later, or I'll see you on another time. Peace out.
Bagels and go to Destination Station. This buddy is the bomb. Love it.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Yep.
I had to say that for a reason.
Freddie, take that, motherfucker.
All right. Okay. Fuck you. Yeah.